One thing you've got to understand when it comes to scam management, managing your money or managing your investments is you have to learn how to do your own research. One of the biggest things that I see when it comes to scams is people are not doing their own research before they engage in any business practices, any investments, any crypto investments, or maneuverability with financial instruments. So today we're going to go over some of the basic things you need to understand about how to evaluate the legitimacy of an investment. First and foremost, listen to the cadence and the pace of which they communicate. If they're communicating to you with direct and absolute verbiage, we're always going to guarantee, and this is so certain, I'm sure about it, and this is the new algorithm, the AI infused cryptocurrency. I'm showing you the way, the truth, and the light to be slaughtered by the shepherd. There's a lot of them out there. So we're not going to fall for the tips and the tricks. One of the biggest things people use is the cadence, how fast they speak. What are they saying? Are they saying anything that's worth listening to? Are they using a vernacular and a communication tone that captures your senses and puts you inside of a box that makes you think only in the construct or the illumination of what they're saying? Why is that important? Because words are power. When you start to understand that people use their words to convince, influence, manipulate, or to distill or instill fear inside of you, then you understand one thing. You can't listen to everything you hear. Everything you hear, you can't listen and pay your attention to. Today, we're going to talk about one company that you see that is all over the news. A lot of people have invested a lot of money with this organization, this person, this individual. And I want you to understand Black Alchemy was created for this purpose and this purpose alone. We started this whole journey back in the NFT days when people were just spending money in NFTs and getting scammed and getting their rugs pulled because they weren't doing their research. So, without further ado, let's move forward into some of the things you need to understand. First and foremost, when you type in any kind of website and you have to go in and interact with an organization, the first thing that a scammer is going to do is not show you their reviews. They're not going to go and show you that, hey, listen, if you actually do some research and look at all of these people, I was scammed here. I was scammed here. I was scammed, deposited over $100,000. I You have to do your research. You have to understand that a lot of these scam advisors, a lot of these different websites that are available at your disposal will tell you things like, I had a bad experience. More specifically, you can use things like this company right here to evaluate whether or not people are giving information about this company. Has everybody seen this company? Bearded Trade Management. Have you seen it? I'm not sure if it's a scam. I'm sure it is a scam. Do your research, evaluate. A lot of the scams that you get scammed by play on your ability not to stay focused in your research. You have to do the research. You have to read the lines. I left a message. They didn't get back to me. They said they were going to give me research every single line. What are they saying about this situation? Are there class action suits about lawsuits about this organization? Do you know about lawsuits? So when you see companies, you want to investigate. Oh, let's see if there's a lawsuit. And I'm using this browser right here. You can use whatever you want to use to investigate. Look at this one. Looks like there's a entire lawsuit against this company. And a lot of people don't evaluate that. Now, I'm not just going to give you the, oh, well, Jason, you can always just create things on the internet. I understand that. So now let's dig into the deep OSINT, the open source intelligence portion of doing your research. First and foremost, what do we have here? We have a website. So if we have www this company right here, I don't want you to go to this website because obviously any organization that's doing any kind of scamming keeps a log of all the IPs and they track and they do all of that. Clearly, I don't give any cares or any kind of feelings about what scammers are doing to exploit other people. So I'm going to show you how to do your research on organizations. Number one, we've got the website. So what is the website? Let's figure out. We're going to use something like domain. Let's just go to Google, right? Let's just use Google for this one. And we want to do a who is search, right? You want to figure out that domain's history. Let's figure out the domain's history. So we want to do a who is lookup. You can do that on GoDaddy. We could do that together. Now, what are we doing here? We're going to take this domain that we have a name. We have this person that wants us to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars. They say that they've been around for 10 years. They're telling you that they're well vetted in the community. All right. If that's true, that means your brand child should have some age. Before we type in anything, let's talk about aging. What is aging? That means that the brand has been around for a while. Now, a domain and a brand are two different things. We're going to go over how to look up the digital identity and also how to look up the corporate identity using open source intelligence tools, the basic things, the things that you don't have to go out and pay for. Simple things like typing in the website. How about we just go here, we copy it there, and then we paste it here, right? And then when you press that, we're going to get some information. Boom, bam, bada bing. This is letting us know that this was registered in 2024 on the eighth month. It expires on the eighth month of this year. That means that a lot of people can go ahead and start doing domain squatting or trying to get access to that domain. You may want to understand first and foremost. Now we know that the name server, the actual service that provides access for the IP address to translate to that domain name, this one right here, is provided by this service. Now that you understand that, I want you to understand that some of the rights and some of the accessibilities that you have when you have scammers is you need to know how to penetrate them. You need to know how to remove their assets from their ability to scam other people. This is just a high level. What we do for our clients is a lot more engaged, a lot more hands on. We call the word bespoken so that you understand that we actually get in bed and say, listen, we're going to investigate every intricacy about this person's pattern of life, this organization, their networks, and see what we can do to ensure that they don't scam other people. But for this conversation that we're having here with the general public, I want to give you some insights, some tools, and some technologies to leverage so that you don't fall victim to the simple scams. First, we've already discussed doing your open source research, and that's just a Google search. Now we went to GoDaddy to evaluate the domain. We want to evaluate who are the name servers. Why is that important? Because these are companies. If there's a company that's hosting, let's just say, child prawn or inappropriate content, and that company that is a publicly traded company or a company that's well known, they don't want to stand on business by supporting companies like this. So maybe you want to figure out who their contacts are, how to engage them, how to figure out more about these people. Does that make sense? Because the more you get engaged, the more you understand. Let's look at something. We're going to call it this number right here. We're not going to say it out loud. I want you to do your research. If I tell you everything, then you won't do your own research. Have you heard of this website here? Uh-huh. Bada boom, bada bam. Open Corporates. It's a wonderful site where you don't have to go in to the state registries like, in Alabama or South Carolina and actually do all of the research or in Florida and figure out all the background. You can simply type in the name of the company, boom, bada boom, and see if anything comes up. Now, in this case, we're not going to divulge any sensitive information on this corporation because I understand that people are watching and I understand my litigation team and my legal team has advised me to walk very lightly as I engage on this journey of exposure. Number three, I want you to understand looking at social media, looking at their profiles, their responses, and looking at all of the other investigatory aspects of a corporation is really important, especially if you go to Google and you type in things like, and you can use other things like LexisNexis. We have a whole slew of corporations, investigation tools, and open source intelligence tactics and databases that we leverage to investigate corporations, but you can too. That's what this is about. So, what you're going to do is go ahead and type in simple things like lawsuits, right? Let's just do that. Yeah. Let's see what that does. Let's see if that comes up with anything. Oh my God. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is that? What is that? Is there a lawsuit? Law.com? Did you do your research before you investigated with this company? Did you do any research to investigate the totality of these people? Did you take these names and go into LinkedIn? Did you look at every comment? Did you slow down before you moved fast into exploitation? I want you to understand on your journey, you have to be very careful about what you invest your money, your time, and your currency with. You have a great, fantastic, blessed, and abundant day. And if you ever need any assistance at recovery, at installing, investigating, installing any kind of surveillance or understanding any kind of capabilities of the people that have exploited you and you need some assistance or you just need some navigation, if you need us to help your lawyers to point the litigation and discovery motion, if you need us to help you, that's why we're here. You have a great, fantastic, blessed, and abundant day. Yeah.